So what would be different in your life if you were able to give 100% to everything that's important to you? And I know that might sound impossible, but hear me out on this, because a few weeks ago, I found myself getting just bored and slower during my day, and that's totally not normal for me. So I kind of sat down and I studied what I've been doing that might be causing that. And here's what I found. Throughout my life, every time I go through any intensive work, whether it's a high intensive week or a highly intensive month, after that time period is over, I tend to slow down until I catch myself and I go back into high gear. And I spoke with a couple of friends who run successful companies, and I found that this happens to a lot of CEOs, where we might get caught up in an acquisition of another company or a massive growth spurt of our own company, or maybe you had a new baby, or you just went through a period of your time in your life where you just required you to step up your game and go into high speed and focus on that one or two particular areas of your life, at the cost of everything else. And because we're so focused on those one or two areas, everything else in our life kind of gets less of our time and energy. And what happens is that your brain gets used to pushing forward in high gear and focusing on that one particular area. And once that period of growth slows down or normalizes or even stops, it's human nature to just allow all the other areas of our life to keep going at 20 miles an hour, right? Let me give you an example. When I speak on stage, the week before I go on a big stage, sometimes preparing to speak to tens of thousands of people, often I'd spend 3 days, sometimes even a week, working on my slides and on the content that I want to deliver to that audience, because I always want to give 110% so that everybody in that audience walks away with usable value that changes their life. And during those days prior to each event, I run 1,000 miles an hour putting that content together, which means I need to pull back on some other areas of my life, right? The energy that I'm putting into my team meetings, or the effort that I put into each of my companies, or the time that I put into my personal workouts. And then maybe I fly out and I speak at that seminar and I deliver this great presentation. But what normally happens when I come back to the office is I start to feel lost. Has that ever happened to you? Because it's usually because my brain got used to spending less time and less energy on my workouts, on my team meetings, or doing anything else that I was normally extremely good at doing. Now, the same thing happened just recently in my life, which is how we started this video, where we finished the acquisition of this new company about a month ago. But the 3 months before we signed that deal, I was solely devoted to more and more of my time to the negotiation and to reviewing the contracts for the deal and to setting up my team so that immediately after that acquisition, we could jump in and monetize every aspect of that deal. And it was so exciting, which meant that I was taking time away from my other ventures, right? Each day, I would take a little bit more time away until finally, on the day of signing that contract and sealing the acquisition, that day and the day before, I was 100% devoted just to that one deal. And the day after we closed the deal, my team and I focused really heavily on merging those two companies together. But I set things up so well that I kind of wasn't really needed after the deal was done. My team just kind of took care of almost everything. And again, I felt a little lost in almost every other area of my life, and I slowed down. And it took me a couple of days to snap back into high growth mode. But most CEOs and most entrepreneurs don't snap back. They go through high growth periods and get distracted. And then they allow their focus and their energy in other areas of their life or other areas of their business to slow down. And that's why so many businesses ride this roller coaster of ups and downs in their growth. And that's why so many entrepreneurs get burned out. The solution that I found in my life was really simple, and I'm going to give it to you right now. The solution to staying on your game all the time is to use simple checklists and measure the results you get from each area of your checklist to make sure that each area of your checklist earns its right to be there. So, for example, one of the areas of my checklist is exercising daily, because I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that when I exercise daily, my brain and my body function a lot better, and I am much more productive, and I'm just a lot happier. So I have a simple exercise checklist that I follow every single day. And although I don't necessarily need to look at that checklist every day because I've been doing it for a while and I know what to do, I still force myself to pull out that checklist at least once a month. And during times of growth, it could be even more than that. And when I pull it out, I just review it and I make sure that I'm following everything on it. And every box is checked off, which might include 30 minutes of cardio 4 times a week. It might include exercising with weights 5 times a week and meditating or yoga 4 times a week or hiking a couple of times a week or whatever it is that's on your exercise checklist that keeps you performing at your best, both mentally and physically. And I've got a checklist for my team meetings, and a checklist for accomplishing the most important actions every day for business, and a checklist for maximizing my relationships in life, and a checklist for my diet, and I have a checklist for pretty much everything important in my life, right? And I make sure I review those checklists at least once a month to make sure I'm not faltering. Now, it's important to be flexible so that you know what's going on and you allow yourself to go through high growth periods in certain areas. And when you do, you may have to slow down on a few things in other areas of your life during that time frame. But it's equally important that once you push through that level of growth or through that time in your life, that you immediately get back on track with the other areas in your checklist. Because those who do not get back on track, they never seem to progress fully in their life. And they always feel like they're not quite up to par and they can't keep quite up with everything. If you know anybody who sets big goals in their life and never really seems to accomplish those goals, this is probably why. And the act of creating and following these checklists in your own life could be the solution to finally breaking through and achieving greatness. I know it's been a game changer in my life, and I really think this message is important for you and for everyone who strives to grow in life. So please do me a favor and share this message with your family and with your friends and with your coworkers or with anyone who you feel can benefit from this kind of help. So if you're seeing me on YouTube right now, subscribe and share this video with the people that you know. And if you're seeing me right now on Instagram or hearing this audio on iTunes or Spotify, go ahead and subscribe on those platforms and share those with your friends. But also go back to YouTube and watch the video version of this because I share different content on different platforms and I want you to have it all because life is not about learning all you can. It's about learning the few things that could help you achieve the business and the life that you want in the shortest time possible so that you could enjoy the happy, fulfilling life you deserve. Go ahead, subscribe now, and then please help share this message with the people that are most important to you.